Disclaimer: this content is only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. It was a late summer evening, and the air was still warm from the heat of the day. The golden hour light shimmered across the surface of the pool like soft velvet, catching every ripple with a glow that made everything feel just a little more magical. I had just climbed out of the water, drops sliding down my skin, hair dripping, breath slow from the swim. I didn't expect him to still be watching me so quietly from the edge. My husband, Alexei, always had a certain calm to him, the kind that made you feel safe even when your heart was racing. But this time, there was something different in his eyes. He stood up, walked over, and without saying much, he held out a towel. "Let me dry you," he said, his voice low, almost like a whisper carried by the breeze. I froze, not from the chill, but from the sudden rush of something I couldn't name. Maybe it was the way he said it. Maybe it was the way his fingers brushed mine as he handed me the towel. Whatever it was, something changed in that moment. This wasn't just about love, or attraction. It was something deeper. Something quieter. And far more intense. We had been married for 5 years. Life had its ups and downs, work stress, long nights, those silent moments after arguments, but we always found our way back. Still, lately, things had been routine. Predictable. Until today. Until this exact second. As he gently patted the towel against my shoulders, his fingers paused, lingered. Our eyes met. And suddenly the air between us was no longer warm, but electric. He didn't say anything else. He didn't need to. His actions were slower, more deliberate. There was kindness in his touch, but also a hint of something unspoken. Was it desire? Was it something he had been holding back? I stood there, unsure whether to step away or lean in closer. Part of me wondered if this was the start of something new, or the return of something old. Could a simple towel and a moment by the pool shift the weight of an entire relationship? Was this just a sweet gesture, or the beginning of something that would bring us even closer? One thing was certain: the man I thought I knew had just surprised me in the most unexpected way. So now I ask you, have you ever experienced a moment that changed everything without a single word? A glance, a touch, a pause that made you feel seen in a way you didn't even know you were missing? Share your thoughts in the comments. Was Alexei simply being kind, or was there more to that look? Vote in the poll below and tell me, is this the start of rekindled romance, or is something else coming? Just as I was about to speak, his hand gently moved to tuck a strand of hair behind my ear. I looked up. My heart stuttered. But before I could say anything, he whispered something that made me stop breathing for a second. "Would you like me to continue the story from here?" "I've missed you like this," he whispered, the towel resting softly against my collarbone, his fingers warm and firm beneath the delicate cotton. My breath caught again. That line. It landed somewhere between my ribs, where memories sleep until something stirs them awake. We hadn't talked like this in weeks, no, months. The kind of talk that says more with pauses than it does with words. Life had taken its toll. Between his business trips and my freelance work piling up, the only time we touched was in passing. A kiss before sleep. A hand on the back at the dinner table. But this was different. This was him noticing me again. Not as a wife managing laundry and groceries, but as a woman, his woman. I let the silence stretch a little, unsure of what to say. Should I say I missed him too? Should I lean into the moment or step away before it changed everything? I wrapped the towel tighter around myself, but not because I was cold. My skin still held the warmth of the water. It was something else. Attention. Not just romantic. It felt like something was waiting, like he wanted to say more, but wasn't sure how. He moved a little closer, close enough that I could smell the light musk of his cologne, the one he only wore on special occasions. That detail hit me harder than it should have. Was this a special occasion to him? Was he trying? Or was he remembering something too? I remember the first time I saw you by this pool, he said quietly, glancing down like the memory was too fragile to look it straight on. You laughed at me. Remember? I nodded, the memory rushing in like a wave. That summer, our second date, me accidentally pushing him into the water while trying to show off. We laughed so much that day. Everything had been easier then. Freer. Before we let life pile up between us. He touched my wet hair, just a light graze with his fingertips. Not rushed. Not accidental. Deliberate. His eyes searched mine, like he was asking a question without saying it out loud. I wanted to answer it. I wanted to say yes, whatever the question was. But I didn't. Not yet. Instead, I looked away, pretending to watch the water. You okay? He asked, his voice lower now, softer. I turned back, met his gaze, and smiled. I don't know yet. And just like that, something in his expression shifted, like he understood that this wasn't just about one evening by the pool. This was about everything we'd built, everything we'd lost, and maybe, what we still had left to find. Do you think they're ready to open old doors again? Or are they standing on the edge of something new? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to vote in the poll below. Would you walk away, or take one more step closer? The sky deepened into twilight, casting long shadows across the water. The pool lights flickered on, casting a soft blue glow that danced across the surface. I could feel the damp towel still clinging to my skin, but what lingered more was the heat of his gaze. Alexei had always had this quiet intensity, like he saw more than he let on. But tonight, something about him felt unfamiliar, like a part of him had been locked away, and now he was slowly letting it out. He reached for my hand, not forcefully, just a gentle touch, his fingers curling around mine like they used to. But I hesitated. It wasn't that I didn't want to hold his hand, it was the weight of everything unspoken between us. The late-night arguments, the times I cried alone in the kitchen, the distance we never talked about. And then there was that message I'd seen last week on his phone, just one line, from a woman I didn't recognize. When are you coming back to the city? He said it was work. He always does. I pulled my hand away, slow but firm. Are you being real with me, Alexei? My voice cracked slightly, but I didn't care. I needed to know. He blinked, caught off guard. What do you mean? That message. The one from Anna. I saw it. I wasn't snooping, it popped up while your phone was charging. His expression shifted, not into guilt, but something closer to exhaustion. He rubbed his jaw, the kind of move he made when he was trying to choose the right words. Anna's a client. She's opening a spa downtown. I'm just helping with the launch. But why did it sound so personal? He took a deep breath and stepped back. I don't know. Maybe because things between us haven't felt normal. Maybe I miss talking to someone who doesn't look at me like I'm a stranger. That hit harder than I expected. It wasn't just me feeling the distance. We were both drowning in it, but too proud to call for help. I turned toward the pool, pretending to study the water, but really, I just didn't want him to see my face. My mind was racing. Was he telling the truth? Or was there more? And why now? Why choose this moment, just when I started to feel something again? From behind me, he said quietly, I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to make things worse. But maybe hiding it did exactly that. There was a long pause. The cicadas buzzed in the distance, and the water made soft lapping sounds against the edge of the pool. The silence between us had always been louder than our words. So here's where we are, two people standing inches apart, hearts miles away. What happens next? Should she believe him, or follow her gut? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Anna really wants? Is it just business, or something more? The breeze picked up just slightly, rustling the leaves nearby and sending a light shiver down my spine. I wasn't sure if it was from the air or everything I was feeling inside. Alexei stood there behind me, silent now, probably knowing that any wrong word could tilt the moment even further. I wrapped the towel tighter, but it couldn't cover what was unraveling between us. Everything felt exposed, raw, real, and far from safe. "I didn't mean to hurt you," he finally said, voice low, like he knew the air itself was fragile. "But I also don't know how to fix something when I don't even know what broke first." I turned slowly to face him. His eyes weren't cold, they were tired. Like someone who'd been holding on to too much for too long. And yet, a part of me still questioned whether that tiredness came from us or from something, or someone else. Was Anna just a distraction? Was she a symptom, or the cause? "What do you want from me, Alexei?" I asked, not shouting, but not soft either. "Do you want this marriage, or are you just trying to ease the guilt?" That question hung there, and the pause after it was unbearable. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he walked to the edge of the pool, staring at his reflection like he was searching for something he'd lost years ago. "I want the version of us that laughed here," he said quietly. "That messed around, teased each other, made pasta at midnight just because we could. But I don't know how to get back there. You barely let me in anymore." His words stung because they weren't lies. Somewhere along the way, I had started closing off. Not because I didn't love him, but because I was scared he'd already walked away emotionally. Maybe Anna was never the point. Maybe the real issue was this slow fading we both let happen. I stepped toward him, slowly, heart thudding. "If you're still here, really here, then prove it. Not with words. Show me you haven't left." He looked up, his jaw tight, and for the first time in a long while, I saw something flicker in his eyes. But before he could speak, his phone buzzed again, once, then twice. Loud in the silence. He reached for it, glanced at the screen, and then looked at me. What do you think he saw? Was it another message from Anna, or something else entirely? Comment your guess below and tell me, if you were in her place, would you stay, or walk away? Alexei didn't say a word as he looked down at the glowing phone in his hand. I could see the muscles in his jaw shift, tight, uncertain. My stomach twisted. I didn't want to ask, but I couldn't stay silent either. "Who is it?" I said, barely above a whisper. He hesitated, then turned the screen toward me. It wasn't Anna. It was a message from someone named Mikhail. The text was short, but it hit like a thunderclap. "She knows. You have to tell her before I do." I blinked. The sound of the pool seemed to fade away. My mind tried to make sense of it. Who was Mikhail? And what did he mean I have to tell her before I do? I looked up at Alexei, his face suddenly pale under the soft pool lights. It was like something had cracked wide open between us. "What is this?" I asked, stepping closer, the towel still clutched tight around me. He finally spoke, voice low and distant. "Mikhail's an old friend from Moscow. We used to do business together, years ago. Before we moved here." I narrowed my eyes. "This isn't about business, is it?" Alexei didn't answer right away. He ran a hand through his hair, clearly torn between telling me and protecting something, maybe someone. When he finally spoke, his words shook slightly. "There was a deal, before we got married. Something risky. We lost money. A lot of it. I thought it was behind me, but Mikhail kept receipts. Documents I thought were destroyed. He's been holding on to them. I think he wants leverage now." The air thickened around us. My heart pounded, not just from shock, but from the realization that I didn't know everything about the man I married. "Why now? Why tonight?" "Because," he said quietly, "I was supposed to fly out to meet him tomorrow. To settle it. But I canceled. I wanted to be here, with you. I thought maybe we had a chance to fix this, us. I stepped back. My mind was spinning. You were going to leave and not tell me? After everything? He stepped forward, panic creeping into his eyes. I didn't want you to see me as that man again. The one who made mistakes. Who gambled with our future. But you are that man, I said, not out of anger, but out of pure, crushing honesty. And yet, even in the tension, something in his face softened. He reached for me, not to fix it, but like he didn't want to lose the connection we had, whatever was left of it. Before I could respond, the gate buzzer rang sharply, echoing across the garden. We froze. Alexei's eyes widened, and without a word, he walked toward the front. I followed him slowly, pulse racing. Was it Mikhail? Or someone else caught in this unraveling thread? What do you think? Has Alexei truly come clean, or is there still more beneath the surface? And who do you think is at the gate? Drop your theories in the comments. Your guess might be closer than you think. The gate creaked open slowly. I held my breath, watching Alexei's back tense as he stepped forward. A tall figure emerged from the shadow, Mikhail. He looked older than I expected, rugged and sharp-eyed, wearing a fitted suit that whispered old money and old secrets. His eyes flicked to me, then back to Alexei. I didn't come to start trouble, Mikhail said calmly. But I meant what I said. She deserves the truth. I stepped closer. I already know most of it. So what do you want? Mikhail smirked faintly, then handed Alexei a small envelope. This was never about revenge. It was about responsibility. You ran when things went bad. I didn't. And now I'm stuck cleaning it up. This, he tapped the envelope, is everything. Debt cleared. But this is your last out. Alexei took the envelope without a word. I could feel the relief in his shoulders, but also the guilt. Not because of the money, but because he had let this ghost of his past come so close to ruining what we still had. Mikhail looked at me once more, softer now. He was never trying to hurt you. Just trying to protect you in the worst way. Then he turned and walked out into the night, leaving behind a silence that said more than his words ever could. Back inside, I sat on the edge of the pool. The towel had dried now, but my thoughts hadn't settled. Alexei sat beside me, quiet, letting the stillness speak. I don't know what happens next, he said finally. I looked at him. We rebuild. Slowly. Honestly. But no more hiding. He nodded. And then, without hesitation, he reached into the envelope, pulled out the papers, and dropped them into the fire pit nearby. We watched them burn, old lies, old weight, turning into ash. For the first time in months, we sat there holding hands, saying nothing, because we didn't need to. The tension had cracked something open, and in its place was truth. Messy, painful, but real. And that's where our story found its pause. Not a perfect ending, but a real one. What did you think about how things ended? Do you think she made the right choice staying? Would you like to see what happens next in their relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you want a sequel, let me know below.